At some point in your career, you probably felt overwhelmed. The pressure for results, the sense that you're never good enough compared to your colleagues, the anxiety of an unpredictable job market, and the stress that seeps into every aspect of your life. It's a deeply draining experience, one that can make you question your worth, your abilities, and even your purpose. If you recognize yourself in this description, know that you are not alone. And more importantly, know that there's a beacon of ancient wisdom, incredibly practical, that can guide you through these storms. Stoicism. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or becoming a cold, insensitive person. Quite the opposite. It's about finding an unshakable inner strength, a mental clarity that allows you to navigate chaos without being consumed by it. It's a philosophy designed for real life, to be applied in the toughest moments. And the modern workplace, with its relentless demands, is a perfect training ground for these ideas. Imagine being able to face an impossible deadline not with panic, but with serene focus. Visualize dealing with a competitive colleague not with resentment, but with a calm understanding of human nature. Picture facing the instability of the job market, not with paralyzing fear, but with adaptable resilience. This is not a distant dream. It's a tangible possibility, accessible through the constant practice of Stoic principles. It all begins with a crucial distinction, perhaps the most important one a Stoic makes: the difference between what is under our control and what is not. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic masters, began his manual, the Enchiridion, with this fundamental truth. Within our control are our opinions, our judgments, our desires, our aversions, and, in short, our own actions. Outside our control are the body we inhabit, our reputation, our possessions, and critically, the actions and opinions of others. In the work context, this translates as follows. You don't control whether your boss is in a bad mood, if the company decides to restructure, if a project is canceled due to external factors, if a client is rude, or if a colleague tries to sabotage your work for self-promotion. You don't control the volatility of the job market or unexpected turns in the economy. Try and control these things is like trying to swim against a raging current. You will only exhaust yourself and drown in frustration. However, you completely control how you react to each of these things. You control the effort you dedicate to your task, the ethics with which you act, your stance toward criticism, your decision to learn from a mistake, your choice not to take an insult personally. When you direct all your energy exclusively toward the sphere of your control, something magical happens. Anxiety begins to lose its power. Pressure stops being an overwhelming monster and becomes a challenge to be managed. You stop wasting mental strength fighting immovable giants and start channeling it where it can actually make a difference, your own attitude and your own actions. This leads us to another pillar of Stoicism, the radical acceptance of reality, also known as amor fati, love of fate. Many of us suffer at work because we spend immense energy fighting reality. This isn't fair. Why is this happening to me? It shouldn't be this way. Although understandable feelings, these complaints are like doors that open to suffering. The Stoic understand that reality simply is. Denying it or rebelling against it does not change it one bit. It only adds a layer of emotional anguish to an already existing fact. Acceptance, however, is not passive resignation. It doesn't mean liking something bad or folding your arms in the face of injustice. It means clearly recognizing the situation as it is, without the distorted filter of desire or fear, so that you can act in the most effective way possible. Imagine that a project you dedicate yourself deeply to is abruptly canceled. The non-Stoic reaction is outrage, complaint, and the sense of wasted time. The Stoic reaction is, all right, this is the reality now. The project was canceled. I cannot control this decision. What is under my control? I can extract lessons from this project to apply in the next. I can professionally communicate my disappointment, but then move on. I can reallocate my energy to new tasks. This acceptance frees you from the weight of resistance and puts you in a state of readiness to act, not to lament. Applying this to competition in the workplace is deeply liberating. Competition, especially when toxic and petty, is a major source of stress. Stoicism invites us to completely redefine what it means to compete. For the Stoic, the only true competition is with oneself. Your focus is not on being better than someone else, but on being better than you were yesterday. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "It is foolish to try to be anything other than yourself, and to envy others who seem to possess some greatness. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When you focus on doing your best, acting with integrity, and cultivating your own excellence, the competitive colleague's attitude loses the power to affect you. You're no longer playing their game. You're playing a completely different game, with higher rules. Envy and comparison are poisons for the soul and for your career. They shift your focus from your own development to something external and uncontrollable, the success of others. Instead of consuming yourself because a colleague received a promotion you wanted, practice the Stoic virtue of justice. Be able to recognize their merit, if that's the case. And more importantly, ask yourself, what is under my control so I can continue to grow? Your path is unique. Your career is a marathon, not a 100-meter race against others. Run your own race. And what about stress and anxiety, those unwanted companions of so many professionals? Stoicism offers a powerful tool, the premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It's a mental exercise of rationally and deliberately visualizing things that could go wrong. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? It seems like it would increase anxiety, but the magic lies in the execution. You don't visualize disaster to terrify yourself, but to prepare and, paradoxically, to diminish fear. For example, before a big client presentation, instead of trying to push away nervousness by thinking, "I hope everything goes right," a Stoic practitioner would spend a few minutes thinking, what could go wrong? The projector might fail. I might freeze on a difficult question. The client might look bored. So what? If the projector fails, I have a printed backup and can continue without slides. If I freeze, I can take a deep breath, admit I don't have the answer on the spot, and commit to sending it later by email. If the client looks bored, I'll still do my best, because I don't control their reaction. By mentally confronting these disasters and planning your responses, you blunt the edge of anxiety. When you realize that even the worst-case scenario is manageable, the presentation stops being an existential threat and becomes just another task to execute. You've armed yourself with antidotes against surprise and panic. Finally, Stoicism constantly reminds us of our deeper purpose. In a career, it's easy to get lost in the pursuit of titles, salaries, and recognition. These are preferred indifference for the Stoics, desirable, but not essential for a good life. What is essential, the true good, is living with virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Your job, in its essence, is not what's written on your business card. Your job is a set of actions you take every day. Therefore, regardless of your position, you can exercise excellence. The janitor who sweeps the floor with care and pride is more successful in Stoic terms than the CEO who acts with dishonesty and cruelty. Remember, you are not your position, your salary, or your title. You are your character, your intentions, and your actions. The job market may fluctuate. The company may lay off workers. Projects may fail. But if you have cultivated a resilient, serene, and virtuous mind, nothing external can take that away from you. This is the unbreakable legacy Stoicism offers. You are going through a difficult time. The pressure is real. The competition is real. The stress is real. But your ability to deal with all of this is stronger than you imagine. It's within you, waiting to be cultivated. Start today. When faced with a stressful event, pause for a moment and ask yourself the fundamental Stoic question. Is this under my control? If it's not, practice letting go. If it is, act with courage and excellence. Redefine your success not by the final outcome, which often escapes your hands, but by the quality of effort you put in, which is always under your command. This shift in perspective will not magically solve all your work problems, but will completely transform your experience of them. You will discover an inexhaustible source of peace and strength not despite the difficulties of your work environment, but through them, and that, more than any promotion or praise, is a foundation for a truly meaningful career and a serene professional life.